Hey, what up everyone? Jerky Jones here. So today I'm in my van, I'm just chilling, I got a nice doob, and I'm gonna tell you about how the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic has made me into a believer of God. Alright, stay tuned. You're gonna want to hear this. Alright, no good story is a good story without a fat doobie. Alright, so I guess I'll just first off say that it wasn't necessarily the pandemic that made me believe in God. It was that the pandemic gave me so much free time that I ended up watching a lot of videos and reading some books and having more time to think about life, that I was able to expand my knowledge on theology, I guess, and on self-consciousness and what it is to be me and what this life is all about. But that being said, the pandemic did actually, I guess, in a way, help me believe in God on its own, because, well, I'll have to get into it. Let me just start from the start first. I am 35 years old. From the time I never went to church as a kid. I've been maybe 4 or 5 times and I never really got it. I didn't find it interesting. I was never a believer. My family isn't religious. When I was in high school, I became an atheist. I was watching a lot of and reading a lot of Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens, and watching Bill Maher a lot and things like that. And for up until about a year ago, I was a hardcore atheist my whole life. I didn't believe in anything. I didn't believe in God. I always thought that, I used to always tell people that, I said, do you remember what it's like before you were born? No, you don't. And that's what it's like when you die. It just ends. It's over. Nothing. Okay, and I always believed that. And I never believed anything. I didn't believe in ghosts. I didn't believe in an afterlife. I thought people that had religious experience were just idiots, and they're just making stuff up in their head. I didn't believe in aliens being here. I didn't believe in anything. I didn't believe in any invisible kind of paranormal stuff. I didn't believe in spirituality. None of it. I would always kind of use the argument like, well, if God created us, how come the world's so messed up? And things like that. So yeah, no one could tell me anything that would bend my mind and change my mindset about it. And then 2020, pandemic happened. I was working, everything shut down. I was off for like a year, collecting government checks, sitting on the computer a lot, reading, messing around with home activities and crafts and things like that. And I guess I'll kind of just, as well, again, start from the start of the pandemic thing. Is there's like 2 kind of aspects that made me start to believe in God. One was, like I said in the start there, the ability to have the time and a lot of time to research things, and stumbling across certain YouTube channels and certain interviews and things, which I'll get to. And the other thing is seeing human nature and the governments, how they were behaving and things like this. So just before the pandemic started, I read the book 1984 by George Orwell. And crazy coincidence, I know. I always wanted to read it. I read it, and then boom, pandemic happened. Now, I can't explain everything in the book, but it's about a world where the government controls every aspect of your life, and they use this false pretense that, oh, there's wars going on around the world, so we have to keep you safe, and everyone's a spy, and you can't have any free thought, and there's no fun, there's no religion, everything is the government control of everything. And you don't get much money, you don't get much food. It's totally crazy. And you're being watched all the time and controlled by lies and the propaganda and all this stuff. And when I read that book, I was like, wow, this is where our world is heading right now. Like, this is crazy. But one thing in the book was they didn't want people to have religion, because then you have a thing that oversees, or is so I don't even know if that's a word, but is more powerful than the government. Yourself, your inner beliefs, your thoughts, your religion, your belief in God. So that was always in the back of my mind. Now, here's where things take the next step. So again, I read 1984. I still didn't believe in God or anything. Never had any spiritual experiences. It all kind of started when all the things kind of happened at once. I discovered Alan Watts, who is a philosopher. I watched a bunch of Joe Rogan interviews about DMT, and I met this kid who sold me some LSD. And I found a channel called Pockets of the Future, which this guy talks about your soul and afterlives and stuff like this. And I kind of discovered all these 4 things at once, and it just blew my mind. And it woken me to thinking more about, what else is out there and stuff like this. So when for instance, it started with, I met this kid with LSD. I wanted to get some. I always wanted to try it. Done mushrooms a lot when I was younger. And so before I even did them, because I didn't call for a couple of weeks, I was kind of doing a bit of research about it. And I found Joe Rogan talking about DMT. And he talks about, and they share these experiences that they kind of talk to God when you get totally transferred into another life. Like you lose consciousness, but you're still awake and alive, and you get transferred to somewhere else. Like you see things that are out of this world. Okay, I've never done it, so I don't know exactly, but I could picture, they described it very well. And I do have an experience kind of like it when I smoked some salvia, which I'll explain in a bit. So I was watching this and I was like, wow, that's incredible. And they showed these pictures that a guy who smoked DMT drew, and he was drawing things like kind of the same images and shapes that King Tut's tomb was like his casket, his sarcophagus. Remember, it's got that thing and it's got blue stripes and it's gold, and some of his other images were very similar to like Mayan Inca kind of images and graphics, like stone carvings you would see. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. So I started researching it some more, and sure enough, the ancient Greeks, the ancient Romans, the ancient Egyptians, the Mayans and Incans, and every ancient religion basically experimented with marijuana, opium, LSD, mushrooms, DMT, all that kind of stuff. They have evidence of all these places using these kind of drugs. So, but the funny thing is it's always repressed in today's day and age. They don't want you experimenting and gaining a higher knowledge and thinking something else other than the government in control. You see, that's why they jail everyone for possession of these things, when really they're not. All they do is expand your mind and make you more open to things, and So anyways, so I started kind of connecting the dots here and just exploring deeper and deeper. And so that kind of set me off, like that interview and watching other things. So then I started researching lots, and like I said, learning more and more about ancient cultures and their beliefs and how they use these psychedelic drugs and whatnot. So then I also discovered Alan Watts and Terence McKenna, who are famous from their 60s, 70s, and 80s. They're philosophers, but they did a lot of LSD and mushrooms and hash and marijuana and all these things, right? And they wrote about it and made videos and lectures. And it was like super mind-opening and amazing. Like, I listened to these guys and they talk about what the real meaning of life is and how to be a good person and ways to live your life better spiritually, you know, on the inside and on your mind, and not be hot and bothered by all the problems of the world, like these man-made problems, these fake problems, these social aspects, and the, you know, how to be happy with what you have and how to live on your own, like with yourself and things like that, right? Like real interesting, deep stuff that for me, I never heard before. Straight up, I never knew about it. I've had thoughts similar, but I never had someone a lot smarter than me explain it all and have a lot of videos and things. So, so there's that. And then what really made me start to believe in God and whatnot, and at least an afterlife, put me over the edge, was I discovered this YouTube channel called Pockets of the Future. It's such an amazing channel. I would highly recommend you watching it. Not every video is super great, but there are some really good ones. So this guy, he runs this channel and he talks about celebrities. You think it's a celebrity gossip channel, but it's not. He usually talks about current events going on, the president, celebrities, things going on. But he always ties the video in with like a lesson, a life lesson at the end. And the reason he does the celebrities is two reasons. One, because he says if he doesn't have a celebrity tie-in, no one's going to watch his videos about spirituality and afterlife and souls and meditation and stuff, you know? So he does this to attract people. And then he like I said, ties some life lesson or spirituality lesson or something in it at the end. And man, this channel is so good. Like, the thing about celebrities is everything is an act to them. Their whole lives are fake. They're always putting on shows. And you notice there's so many suicides, there's so many divorces and cheating and gossip and rumors and lies and trying to keep up with the Joneses and status and all this kind of stuff, you know. And none of these celebrities, or very little of them, or even if it's half, that's not a good number, are very happy. They're all used by the system. They get burnt out. They're only around for so long till they're beautiful. And as soon as they start to age a little, they get replaced by the next big thing, and they become real depressed, and you know, they lose their identity. And it's because they don't know who they are on the inside. You know, they're in a totally fake world with money, greed, sex, lies, materialism, you know, and that's not a fulfilling way to live. And unfortunately, that's where our society is and what it worships right now, and it's totally wrong. But he ties it in with lessons about how these people are broken and how to fix yourself, and ways like through meditation or spirituality. He also talks a lot about how we have souls, and how if we don't heal ourselves in this lifetime and come to terms with ourselves and fix the problems, like the addictions that we have or the bad traits or whatever, that when you have your next life, because he believes in an afterlife, not necessarily heaven, but you get reborn again. Because your skin is just your skin on the outside, your bones and stuff. It's your soul that controls you and your thinking, and that's something that scientists haven't really figured out yet. So, so yeah, he says if you don't fix your problems of your soul this life, your next life, you're going to have the same issues, you know? And he explains a lot better than I do. I can't get everything across in one video. Like, I've watched tens of, if not 100 hours of his videos. So, you know, But that's the general concept, right? And I kind of believe it. Like that's when he started to explain it, I was like, huh, that's very interesting. And then with the Timothy Leary stuff, or sorry, all the other things that kind of played, it really made me wonder and think and question. And I had some deep conversations with my girlfriend at the time about life and the afterlife and your soul and how to heal yourself and what's the meaning of it and all that kind of stuff. And that is kind of how I started to believe in God, or in some sort of spirituality, like some sort of something greater than us. All those factors kind of pushed me over the edge and said, oh, wait a second, maybe this whole atheism thing isn't the answer to everything, you know? Maybe it's not the be all or end all. Like maybe, just maybe, there is something that I don't know, that we don't know. Maybe there's a force field, something invisible that is all around us, that is us. So let me explain now that the God I believe in is not one of the religion, like the major religion gods. It's not, you know, Jesus or Allah or Yahweh or any of the religions like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, anything like that, you know? Buddhism, Zen, Taoism, I don't know. That's not what my God is. Like, when I think of God, I think of it as, yes, something that probably created the universe and everything that we know. I don't necessarily think he's here interacting with us all the time, you know. I still believe in evolution. I think and I say he, it's not a he, it's not a she, it's not anything. I just say that for ease of saying it. Like, but when I think of God, I think of, like, yes, I believe in evolution, that we were all created and then kind of left to be on our own, and we've evolved to where we are. And I definitely believe in evolution because I've read books about it and it's scientifically proven. Like, you can show evolution over the years, like with dogs, instance, or fish. You can change them based on their adaptations and breeding, and it's yeah. So, but I think maybe it was meant to be that way, that we evolved to where we are for a reason, to discover this on our own. You know, maybe it had to take that long. I also believe we are all connected. Like, we all came from the earth. You know, we weren't put on earth, we came from it. We're all interconnected in some sense. I have a lot of theories though, like, you know, sometimes I think that we are all God. We are, like, God is us. Other times I think that maybe there's something just that you can't connect on this level, but that it's in another dimension or something, that they're running this and it's God and they have a place for us and we're here for a reason. You know, sometimes when a baby dies really young, its reason is because maybe it had to die to make its parents stronger. Maybe it had to die so that someone would research something and be fed up with it and research and find a cure for whatever it died from, you know. I do think we're here for a reason. And when people's lives are cut short, I think it's part of the plan. It's part of the reason. We may not see or understand it, but I think it has a purpose. And I think we learn from everything, and we are everything. And humans are constantly popping up and disappearing and popping down and dying. It's just the way it is, and we're all the living organism all together with one giant collective. So it's kind of deep, it's hard, I haven't got it all figured out, but it's kind of where I am. Sometimes I think too, like, maybe God is us and he's learning through us, and he's, what my reality that I'm seeing is the only reality that exists, and he's gonna live through every single one of us until the end of time. And the God is the universe trying to learn what feelings are and find knowledge through us. Sometimes I think maybe we're an alien. We're being like the gods, we're in a petri dish, or we're just the whole universe is an atom in a giant chair or something, you know? Like, I don't know, I think about different things all the time, but I just feel what's going on, the world, the beauty, everything, the soul, our friendships, love, discovering colors, all this stuff, like everything, it means too much. It's too special. It's too perfect. It's too amazing to be random, or to just be here for nothing, or, I feel like we are too special to just be put here for no reason and then to die. And I used to think that. I really did. I used to think that. But just the study of psychedelics, and I feel like history has been hidden and changed so much. Who knows what the reality of the situation is, Who knows what the past was like? Maybe there were more advanced civilizations thousands, 10,000, 100,000 years ago. Who knows? But because, information is so suppressed by the governments and the powers that be and the higher ups and stuff. So who knows? But I feel like if the ancient civilizations were using psychedelics and they believed in God, and, maybe it wasn't just because they didn't know about math and science stuff. Maybe it's because it's real, Maybe they tapped into something that we are having a hard time tapping into nowadays because we're totally out of touch. Anywho, and then the other thing is just like seeing people nowadays in the coronavirus. It made me, get worried, and it made me think like, man, I might have to go out into the woods and survive one day. Like, shit's shutting down, gas prices going up, food shortages are happening. Like, I bought this van to make a survival van. I got a crossbow. I got some animal traps. I'm trying to set myself up for the day that comes where I have to take off and go hide for a long time in the woods because the world's gone to shit and there's riots and there's no more food, and I need to survive, And that, coupled with the time I had and seeing how people are acting and stuff, it made me think like, man, there's got to be more than this. Like, and I think there is. I really do. I believe in an afterlife now. I think definitely, I gotta make myself a better person for my next life. And I definitely think my previous life was not resolved, the issues that were in it. I saw another video where this guy said that, like, when you're religious and you believe in God, but it's not one of the religions here, you don't really know, it's called mysticism. And that's what I kind of label my beliefs as, is mysticism. Like a belief in the unknown and in something higher, in the soul, and, but not necessarily one of the main religions. And another cool thing I read too is, people that are like that but reach it through like psychedelic drugs and stuff, they're called shamanism. And I thought that was really neat as well. So anyways, folks, that's all I really wanted to talk about. I wanted to get that off my chest and share it with you guys. It's been amazing actually having this, it's almost like a new me, a total new way of thinking. And I'm really enjoying it and loving it and researching it and having these deep thoughts in my mind and deep conversations with people. I totally get people that don't believe in God or don't believe in anything. I totally understand it now. You'll either come to this same conclusion I have, or you're already there, or you never will. But I'm really liking it, and I really think there is something more to this world. I believe in God. I believe in some sort of omnipresent, all-encompassing, omnipotent being. I haven't figured it out 100% yet, but I believe it. So anyways, that's all. I'm sure I've left out a lot. I could go on and on. There's so many aspects of conversations I could have with y'all. I'm sure when I watch this, I'll think of things that I should have said, and I'll be like, I should have said that. That was a point I wanted to make. You know, I just don't want to ramble on for too long and lose people's attention, you know. So I hope you enjoyed that. Definitely like, share, comment, subscribe. I want to know if you've had any experiences like that, or what your beliefs are. Put it in the comments below. I will read it. I really want to know what you guys think and what you thought about my video and whatnot. Yeah, share away, please do. So anyways, I hope you like that. That's how COVID-19 made me a believer of God, and that's my story. So anyways, folks, have a good one. I'm gonna finish this and then go post this video. All right, peace.